Hello, everyone. This is Ian Schreier, Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Information at Adelphi University and a member of the CoSIDA Academic All-America New Media Committee. And it is my honor to be joined by the 2020-2021 CoSIDA Academic All-America NAIA Team Member of the Year for Women's Cross Country and Track and Field, a graduate runner from Milligan University, Emily Kearney. Emily, first and foremost, congratulations on the honor. What does it mean to you and I just saw your face when I referenced you as the winner. What does it mean to you to be named the CoSIDA NAIA Academic All-America Team Member of the Year?
Gosh, it's a little overwhelming. I'm sort of struggling to believe that the effectively three sports, cross, indoor and outdoor track, that I've somehow been selected for this. But I'm incredibly grateful, and thank you for talking to me.
For all of us, Emily, we all have a start, and for you, and we'll get into so many of the accomplishments that you've won, and that has to have a start. So what drew your interest in running? Did it start for you when you were young? Where and when did it start?
A little over 10 years ago, me and my mum started running together shortly after my youngest brother was born. And kind of from there, it kind of grew into sort of school cross country, and then a bit of club running. And then I was lucky enough to be offered a place in the States. And pretty much since I went to America, my sport has just kind of gone from strength to strength.
Now, if our viewers can't tell from the accent, you're originally from the United Kingdom, from the town of Wirral, which is right outside Liverpool. To follow up that question, what brought you to the U.S.?
Well, originally, obviously I'm at Milligan now. I was at SCAD Atlanta for my undergrad, and it was Coach Mike Caldwell from SCAD Atlanta who just reached out to me and said, "Would you like to do this?" And initially I wasn't too sure about it. It seemed like a big change. But he said, "Well, how do you feel about just trying it for a year?" And I said, "Well, okay." And I came and I liked it, so I stayed.
Now, speaking from being across the pond, you qualified this summer for the British Olympic trials. I mean, what an outstanding accomplishment just to even qualify for the trials and have the opportunity to represent your country on the grandest stage of them all in sports. So what was that like for you?
That was amazing. I got an invitation initially for the marathon trial, and I sort of came downstairs the next morning going, guys, guess what? Like, you're not going to believe what's happened. Because it wasn't even a thing that was sort of on my radar. And then I was fortunate enough also to be invited to the track trial a couple of weeks ago, and it just, the progress that I have made the last year particularly, I didn't really believe it.
How did you end up finishing against the rest of the field in the trials that you had qualified for?
Well, regretfully, I couldn't run at the marathon trial because it was in March. So obviously I was in the States sort of studying and starting my outdoor season. That was a shame, but sort of unavoidable. And then at the track trial, I had a bit of bad luck. I ended up coming out of the race injured. But, wow. It's tough, but it happens. So I've got a couple, reset, restart, and then try and come back stronger next season.
I was going to say, was this the first time you had ever qualified for the trials?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the great thing is that the Olympics come back in a couple more years, so you're ready for the next one, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try.
Now, getting back on point with respect to your studies and where you've gone to school, you're a graduate student at Milligan, but you came to Milligan from the Savannah College of Art and Design, where you were a 10-time All-American and a 4-time national champion. I know, like, it's just unbelievable to read off those list of honors, and I could even see the disbelief in your face that you've accomplished so much in your collegiate career. Two parts to it, I guess. A, where does this honor that you've received from CoSIDA stack up among such an incredible list of awards? And then secondly, what brought you to Milligan?
Well, in terms of awards, honestly, the success that I've had in general has been a complete shock to me. If anybody sort of goes back and looks at my T-First account or anything, you'll see in my freshman year, I was decent, but not anything special. So the progress that I've made and the honors that I have been given are crazy. to me. And then this, yeah, having had it explained to me again, that this, I'm somehow being honoured as, of the three sports that we compete in, somehow it's been given to me is sort of kind of unbelievable. Honestly, I didn't really know how better to describe it. In terms of Milligan, if anybody knows anything about sort of track, cross country, Milligan are in the same conference as my undergrad school. So I was sort of aware of Coach Lane, aware of the team, aware of the work they've been doing for 4 years, obviously. And then with the sort of COVID break, the extra season that some of us got, I kind of thought, well, why not? They have a lovely program. The program that I'm on is, it's become incredibly close to my heart. And the team have become incredibly close to my heart. Coach Lane is a great guy. So it felt like a natural step to go to an environment that I knew something about already.
In just your one season at Milligan, Emily, you didn't lose a single race. You arguably had the greatest season for a distance runner in NAIA history, setting championship records, NAIA records in the 5K, 10K. It's okay to be so overwhelmed by it because it's, I don't, not even so much to, my question was going to be what have really been the keys to your training and ultimately your success. But I want to follow up with something different because just from your reactions, and I want to build off that. Because I want to ask you what makes you feel so overwhelmed just by me reading, and maybe if the roles were switched, I'd feel the same way. But what makes you feel so overwhelmed even after knowing everything you've done in your career, just to hear it back?
I think just because it has all come so quickly, big improvements in track times, invitations to this thing and the other thing. These are goals that I've had for years. But to actually sort of know that I've done them is, I don't know, somehow it doesn't quite compute just yet. But I'd like to say, the success that I've had this year in particular, sure, I was out there running the race, but the people behind me, Coach Lane, Coach Natalia, and the girls on the team in particular, I put down the times, but the times are not just a reflection of what I was doing.
Well, in the classroom, just like the track, it's really no sweat for you, Emily. You had a 4.0 GPA this year as a grad student, a 3.87 GPA as an undergrad at Savannah College of Art and Design. So, I mean, this just piggybacks off the last question I asked you. I mean, how have you found that way to find that balance to exceed so well while running and also in your studies as well?
Well, again, I'd like to thank the people who are around me. One of the loveliest things about Milligan, it's not a very big school, and my program is really quite small. So I have a very sort of close and personal relationship with my professors and with the people that I'm in class with. And they've been incredibly supportive. A lot of them follow the sport, so they sort of tend to know what I'm doing before I do it. And that has been, obviously the requirements of the sport. You put quite a lot of time into training, you put quite a lot of time into travel and competition, and having a community effectively around me that understands that supports that encourages me both in that and in my studying, has been incredibly beneficial.
I think that answers the part I was going to ask you just about your role models and who do you credit for a lot of your successes. So let's conclude it with this. You're obtaining your master's degree in humanities. As we mentioned, you had gone to the Savannah College of Art and Design to do your undergrad. So, aside from trying to qualify as an Olympian, what is the career path, aside from running?
Well, short-term running is the goal. Make hay while the sun is shining. I'm young. You only have so many years to do that. Running is definitely the short-term goal. After that, you might have guessed, I quite like to be in school. So potentially I might, I'm sort of thinking long term about going into teaching or academia, something along those lines.
Any hopes also to do any coaching at all, Emily, or no, you want to stay away from it?
Absolutely. I mean, my parents back here in the UK, they coach a large youth group. I like to try and get involved with that when I'm at home. I love running. I love athletics, track and field. So as long as I can find some way to be involved with that, yes, absolutely.
Well, Emily, congratulations again. It's just been such a pleasure to talk to you here for the last few minutes and understand you and just get to know you. And aside from what I read about all your accomplishments, just an outstanding young lady. And I really look forward to seeing you accomplish more and hopefully in a few more years on the Olympic stage.
Well, hopefully. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, the 2020-2021 CoSIDA NAIA Academic All-America Team Member of the Year for Women's Cross Country and Track and Field from Milligan University, Emily Kearney.